So God bless everybody. We are excited to do this for the body of Christ. Go to Romans 8:26 and 8:27. That's what we're using as scripture references if you want to look it up. This is called Tongues of Fire mixed with prophetic soaking music. Okay, let's do this. In Bordish. In Bordish, the Bordish, and 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 the Bordish. Ibu dulu semua sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu semua sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu semua sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu semua sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu sih beres, 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 semua sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu semua sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu sih beres, 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 beres. Ibu dulu and there is the doors and the very solution is the order, but isn't there is home the rest but a Buddhist and the Shivarism, but is very in the Shivarism, very in the Shivarism, very in the Wadish, very in the Shivarism, very in the Shivarism. Ibu Rose arrest, Rose arrest, the Shivarism, very in the Shivarism, very in the Vedas. Ibu Rose, the Shivarism, very in the Shivarism, very in the Ibu Rose, the Shivarism, Ibu Rose nation the sugar also there's variation of art or variation the variation the average. Ibu Rose and the variation the also variation the also variation the variation variation the variation variation the variation Ibu Rose and the variation variation what's in the order variation Ibu Rose and the variation the also variation variation Buddhist one day, so they say, Ibu Rose and the and the rose and the what it is Ibu Rose and what is in the British Ibu Rose in the Ibu Rose in the in the Rose and the Ibu was and the Tum Rose in the Rose in the Rose and the Ibu Embora se what is the origin that is Ibu say the shiver the shiver shiver the shiver the shiver the shiver 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 Ibu say the shiver the shiver the shiver 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 the shiver shiver the shiver shiver the shiver 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 the shiver the shiver the shiver the what is the road the shiver 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 the but it's one shiver the 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 I can hear what you. I can hear. I'm gonna wait until we get done, Annika. I'm gonna wait until we get done. I can hear what you're speaking. I can hear the whole. I can hear. The gift interpret. Okay, we're gonna keep praying though. What is this? What is this? Ibu was the British Wow, okay, he won't talk. Okay. Okay, he's moving me and you, Annika, into a new season of spiritual wealth. Oh, wow. Also moving into a new season of financial abundance. We break all hexes in Jesus' name on the power of the Holy Ghost. Wow. Okay. He's moving me and you, Annika, in a new season of what, Holy Spirit?
I'm sorry, you broke out. What?
Okay, he's moving us into a new season of spiritual authority.
Amen.
Okay, we can continue. and the red was a rush, but the rose out of separation, he would rest all as water, was the person by Shivat and the Shivat and the Shivat. And the rulers of the was a was the Trinity was a Shivat, but I don't know the Shivat, but the yet the rulers of the Satushun, it was the Shivat, and the was a E would do that also that she version of version 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 what I said what I said version the dish. He would do that what it is as well as she E would what it is what say version 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 what else version 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 Oh boy. I borde se borde se borde se borde se borde. I borde se då se det borde se borde då se borde se borde se det borde se borde se borde se det borde se borde se borde se borde det borde se borde se borde se borde det borde se borde det I borde se det så är det så det borde se borde se borde och sen se borde se borde se det se borde det så borde se 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 borde det så borde se borde se borde se borde se borde det så borde det borde det I borde det då så det borde se borde se borde se borde se borde se borde det så borde det borde
Posso controlar cada passa cada também. Se que ter le que ter posso controlar para controlar controlar massa que ter que também. Controlar controlar para chegar que também controlar. Chega ter le que ter para controlar massa controlar. Chega ter le controlar massa controlar. Se que ter le que ter posso controlar ma controlar. Chega ter le que ter chega ter para controlar. Shikatele katele pakatoba. Shokotrolo kotro passe katete me kotrolo kotro passe katete me. Ketele be shikatele kotro makatro shetobo. Shikatele katele kotro pakatro shetobo sokoto pakatro kotro. Shikatele katele pakatro masse katro pakatro shokoto pokotro makatro la katro shetobo shikatele me katele katroba. Shikatele katro passe katro makatro shokoto. Ketele be shikatele pakotro la katro masse katro be shikatele. Ketele be shikatele katro pakatro passe katro shotobo. Shikatele be kotro lo kotro makatro be shikatele me kotro lo kotro makatro shikatele. Shikatele katro pakatro katro pakatro shotobo patro shotobo shikatele.
There's
Kotro
Holy
kotro
Spirit.
kotro lo kotro passe shikatele be shikatele. Ketele be shikatele lo kotro
Oh wow, you gave me a word for the body.
Thank
Give me a word for the body. Is this for the body of Christ? Okay. but the Lord ordered from this and the Shalation, the Shalation, distribution, what she distribution, but she put somebody better. Yeah, but was that it was somebody below somebody somebody. Wow. I'm gonna tell you, Annika. Okay, you remember when he said prophetic formation?
Yeah.
So now he's telling me what it means. Format of the prophetic.
Hmm?
The format of the prophetic.
Okay.
And then he has a word that I have to release to the body of Christ after we get through.
Okay.
That's powerful. Okay, we can continue. Even with us also, that's it. in the rules that I should show the was and the show the rules of the shiver was on the show the shimmer what shiver in the in the rules that rose and the rose and which was in the shiver is what was shiver in the rules ever somebody waited this he would the rules that is rose and the show the shiver and the show the nation the better but in the and the was in the shiver as what in the rose and the shiver was on the friend the rose and the show the rose in the shiver in the shiver yet the rose that I had in the ship and the rose and what was in the shiver was on the shiver the and the was watching better was on ship to one dish in the nation but in the dish and the rules and the shiver that was somewhat shiver in the better in the dish in the rules that are from she did or also the village in the rules that whatever was in the dish when they was almost shown to the village at the was a shiver was in the shown the shiver was in the village in the rules that was ever shown seated to a national edition but what is in the road that are from the but in the village.
Okay, Annika. He's about to bless you with healing hands. He's about to give you many prophetic visions.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. I receive it.
Yeah, he's moving. He's moving. He's moving.
Man, importers that are sort of what is in the Imuru Darash, what is in the roads and shiveration, but rooms that are so much shiveration, but they was a resort to the rose and shiveration, and the shiveration, what shiveration, Ed was on the shiver that was in the road, the shiveration, but in the shiveration, but in the whatsoever, but there are home to this.
Okay, cancel the attack in Jesus' name. Give me some for wisdom. Cancel the attack in Jesus' name. Cancel the attack in Jesus' name. And the power of the Holy Ghost.
Importers and the separation, but Ibu was a separation, but what is about the separation, but as about separation, but about somebody separation, but as noticed in the cities. He do that there was somebody, but what's in the but what's our ocean, but in the parish. In the rules are separation, but what's in the old separation, what is in the separation, what as in the separation, what's the separation, what is in the separation. The board is it, was it, what is the separation, that is what's it, never is no room, but in the direction, but that's almost in better in the what the separation.
Okay, I pray. Okay, wow. I pray for prophetic wisdom in Jesus' name. I pray for Annika. She receive prophetic utterance in Jesus' name. Pray, amen.
In Jesus' name, amen. Hallelujah.
Thank you, Jesus.
I receive it. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
You do that separation, but in the separation, in the separation, there was separation, but it the in the rules that was the rest of the bullet of what in the rose and the shit and the in the yeah, was the road to the shiver, was the Fushi, the roads and the shiver, in the and the rules are as well as what as was and the rules as was simple roads and the shirt and the shirt that wasn't the what simple road simple in order to was on the chimney she would let somebody to wasn't she wasn't the roads and barrels and the relation with the rose and dash and bash and arrows and actual condition the letters in order that one the rules and the rules and barand wasn't this in order on the river.
Annika, you said we can stop.
Okay.
Man, that was powerful.
Yes, it was.
Oh, that was so powerful.